Do you want to hear like stuff about like racism and hypocrisy and like fake gotcha moments? Cosmo, bro, do you care like at all? I remember a while ago when I was talking to a group of friends, I posted this Black Ryoko edit from the Your Favorites Dark Skin Twitter account. And there was one friend out of the group who took it upon themselves to post an edit of White Garnet and proceeded to say how it works both ways and how this Garnet looks better than this. I ain't capping, this is what he said. Like, he would just be contrarian for no other reason than to start shit. He was capping out of his ass. And obviously he was wrong, but I didn't exactly feel like telling him why. Well, if you're watching this right now, nigga, I got time today.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Alright, new story time. So the other day I opened Twitter, obviously never a good idea, and I saw a user getting their ass beaten in quote tweets for posting this image and many others liking on their account. And these are obviously bait. Some of you couldn't assume I have common sense and decided to tell me I fell for the bait when responding, when all I did was say ew. No shit, it's bait. They want attention and I decided to make fun of them for Twitter likes. But clearly what they did here was turn loose from the house, the brown-skinned Dominican American, into a flavorless, undercooked, for lack of a better word, lent leech.
Nigga, get the fuck up, man!
And not only did they do it to fuck with people, they did it to prove a point. A point I see so many times that I'm here to dismantle and disprove. In multiple tweets, they expressed how black people aren't oppressed and that racism works both ways. Clearly, from those statements alone, this wasn't made for shits and giggles and to make niggas mad. The nigga in question did this with reasoning behind it. And I want you to take a look at these two edits. Although at their basic objective core, both characters having their race being altered in an edit, they aren't the same. And they ain't comparable for multiple reasons. These images are not the same. And I'm gonna explain why. And you probably guessed, but I'm finna get into that right now. But before that, we got a word from our sponsor. Sponsored by, you'll never guess, I kid you not, Raid Shadow Legends. Alright, now obviously everybody and their mama heard of Raid. I mean, it's only like the most notable mobile action RPG of the century. I'm just here to remind you, I'm just a messenger. You know what it is, I love how interesting these champions look and how versatile skills they got. Look at this nice looking guy. Look at this hot lady. I do like how stylized character design seems to be from just a quick glance. I like some more than others. You probably already guessed, but this game has a huge roster of people to choose from. Personally rocking with the Dark Elves, but that's probably a little bit of bias because I used to be a Dark Elf back in my D&D days. I'm not kidding at all, I was on that demon time. As a person who really does not enjoy turn-based combat at all, I don't know, Raid don't be looking that bad, especially for a mobile game. You can form your clan and get mixed on AI or get mixed up in PvP arenas. Speaking of getting mixed on, one of the bosses you'll have to face is Sylvania, the guardian of the Spirit Key. Her old deal is that she got betrayed, but she still doesn't want to share any of that magic. So when you're fighting her, you want to remove buffs to strip your defenses and just hit her hard to start racking up the rewards. I think she looks cool. This month, Raid's got a non-stop schedule of events and activities, including the Halloween lineup towards the end of the month, tournaments, special fragments to get a legendary champion, including a new Halloween one, and apparently much more. They seem to have a lot going on right now, so literally why haven't you downloaded the game? If you want to hop on, just hit the link in my description or scan my super swag QR code to get the epic hero Chinaru, 200k silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy fill, and 1 ancient shard to summon a champion as soon as you hop in the game. All that just for you. Pretty swag if you ask me. Now again, you might want to hop on because if you're interested, these things are only going to be here for the next 30 days. After that, gone. So I don't know about you, but I get my free stuff. Here's the inbox where you need to click to access your treasure. Raid Shadow Legends. Link in the description. Things need to be paid for. Alright, now back to it. I don't know if anyone told you, but this month is the month that the art community calls Blacktober. A lot of you non-social media niggas probably are unaware as to what that is, so allow me. Black artists and editors have started to draw themselves into the things that they love. And by that I mean drawing them as black or their faves as black. A lot of people obviously did not like that, and with that came a lot of harassment thrown at said artists and editors. Blacktober is a month-long prompt thing that was created to combat all the hate and malice with fun. And people have a problem with this whole movement because they think it's racist and say it's blackwashing, seeing as people truly believe other people are canonically changing the races of these characters, or at least trying to. In an attempt to try to educate the people who were making these edits, people decided to do the exact opposite to prove a point. But like I said earlier, these two images aren't the same and never will be. Now it's time for me to explain that. Although I think I'll get a little more comfortable first. I'm saying I'm going to do the cool green screen thing again because I like doing it and it's cool and it's time effective. Yeah. First off, one was created positively, as you can see from the quality of the edit, while the other was created in retaliation of the other. Now you might say, why does that even matter? Well, here's a comparison. There's this teeny little organization, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's called Black Lives Matter. And then there's All Lives Matter. People who say ALM opposed to BLM or supporting a movement that was made in retaliation of a movement made for the support and giving of voices to black people. A movement solely made for us to be treated as equal. Both still movements at their core, but one movement movement is in retaliation of the other. To simplify things, say we're on a playground, right? We're also kids, we're not weirdos. And so there's a kid who falls down and he breaks his leg. And so then he's asking everybody, somebody call help, my fucking leg's broken, oh my God. And then there's another kid who's on the playground who's not hurt, who's like, well, what about my leg? Diverging the attention from the root problem, the kid with the broken leg. Also in the scenario, the kid with the not broken leg talking about what about his leg is really popular. He's really popular. He's always been popular for like forever. And the one time when an issue or a subject is not about him, he's trying to make it about himself. Do you see how that's fucked? If you don't get that, I think this video isn't for you. I really don't want to follow deaf ears. You probably should go like right now. All right, now let's bring it back. I talked about this before conveniently in the video right before this one, but black edits exist primarily because of the lack of representation of black animated characters in animated media. And if you say, we got plenty of representation, Stop the cap. Most of the mainstream anime that I out and talked about right now don't feature accurate black representation or black representation at all. And trust me, we're thankful for what we're getting right now, but that's now. For decades, we were getting this or nothing. Side note, I don't ever think that Killer Bee's a racist caricature. I think he's cool as fuck, and that's my nigga right there. Some people just don't get it. He's just icy, all right? He icy. That nigga threw them hands on Sasuke. But because of this lack of characters in our race, we had to latch on to characters that weren't even representative of our own race. Therefore, over the years, we've made headcanons and AUs of these characters where they are black. Notice I said the headcanon and AU. Contrary to popular belief, we don't actually believe these characters are black. I know Piccolo's a fucking Namekian. Everyone knows Piccolo's a Namekian. We just like to think, what if?
I mean, I know he ain't, but like, what are these, bro? These are do-rags. Gohan and Piccolo are swimming. You cannot tell me otherwise.
Shit, headcanoning shouldn't even be that much of a problem. I've seen people do a lot more outside of race. Some niggas headcanon characters into completely new, different characters. I'm calling y'all out. Y'all motherfuckers will headcanon a character that's nothing like you and then make that nigga just like you, which changes their character entirely. Don't worry, it's okay though. I just know. Remember that one bigot dickhead cop from Detroit Become Human? Niggas made him the partner of the new Connor and also like a tsundere love interest. This is a bigot. This is a robo-racist who probably is homophobic. What were y'all doing? Anyways, people love calling this blackwashing, but that's not a thing, like, at all. It does not exist. First off, again, this is just an example of someone making something in retaliation of something else. Blackwashing? That doesn't even sound right. It was obviously derived from the term whitewashing, which if you did know is the changing of a character's race from something ethnic and flavorless to white, and that's just not good for nobody. And obviously now the meaning has been updated to accommodate for the coloring of a darker skinned character lighter than what they're supposed to be, which is also not good for nobody. I got a confession, y'all niggas say I never missed any harder than this video. This video is almost 2-3 years old, but if I did miss the point more harder, I wouldn't know what this was. Obviously you can tell from the thumbnail I was saying that nobody was whitewashing Nessa, which is wrong. That's not right at all. People were drawing her light as fuck for no reason. And I completely missed the point about the erasure of dark skin representation and how that's no good for nobody. Live and learn. Sometimes you have good friends that teach you. Love you, Thuman. Now, some of you probably think you got me in a little gotcha moment. Oh, you know, you call my ass red-handed, caught in 4K. You didn't. Settle down. You're predictable? And I know what you're gonna say. Well, white characters are getting recasted as non-white people more and more these days. And you'd probably call a black person playing a role originally casted as a white person blackwashing as you would for these edits. Well, the difference between a black person playing a role originally a white person did and a white person playing a role originally a black person did is reasoning and erasure. No matter how many originally white roles taken by non-black people happen, they're still going to be the dominant party in representation and in real life, like they have been for centuries. But if you take the role from a black person or from another person of color, you are comparatively taking what little representation we have in the first place. And when it comes for reasoning, you have to think, is there a reason why this character is white in the first place? Probably not. They're just white. The story has nothing to do with them being white. But most of the time, black roles are made for black people to tell black stories or to tell stories that black people need to be in. Whenever a black edit is made and posted, in the replies, I see this infamous and, not gonna lie, kind of funny picture of a white Black Panther. And this image essentially is the whole, but what if the roles were reversed card? And essentially is a physical representation of niggas missing the point. If you want them reversed so bad, how about you go through 200 years of slavery, decades of segregation, years of systematic oppression, gentrification, and mass incarceration and imprisonment. If not, shut the fuck up talking to me. Otherwise, the roles cannot be reversed. And if your rebuttal is get over slavery, everything's not about race. No, everything is about race, and everything will always be about race. Shut the fuck up talking to me. Shut up. Lower your tone like shit. Black Panther is a character made for black people that has cultural significance. Do white people have like a cultural superhero? If you say Captain America, I'm teleporting to your house and knocking the piss out you. Thing is, people bring up the counter argument, well, why don't you make your own characters instead of changing the race of existing ones? And to clarify, number one, again, we aren't changing the races of these characters. These are headcanons and AUs. And number two, that's valid. I mean, if not for the fact that you can do both of those things at the same time while it's not hurting anyone, because these edits hurt literally no one. It isn't like these characters are being officially recasted or retconned as black ones. They're just edits, and they're not bad ones either. The counters are usually crude, bad looking, crusty, ugly, and that's because the messages behind these two are very different. One's clearly positive and with love, while the other is within malice, or it comes off as combative and misses the point.
Yeah, but these edits, and you thought you ate, give me that fucking plate. It's also funny someone made a Nagatoro edit like this, but like, she's not black. We do not claim y'all tan line light skins. Please stay away.
Now I can lie to you and say that I got bored of doing the green screen thing, or I can say my internet has been out for about a month and I've been staying and recording at a friend's house. Either way, I guess we'll be back after these messages. Follow my Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to Don Bad Boys, the group channel that me and my friends are a part of. It's cool and swag.
Another problem you'll hear people bring up is the whole fixing terminology. What I'm referring to is when some people will do one of these edits or drawings, they refer to it as fixing it. And I ain't gonna cap, this is flawed on both sides. On one side, you have some people actually seeing this as fixed or but better, which obviously pushes the narrative that that is what everyone thinks. And on the other, you have people assuming that everyone who makes these edits carries that same mindset, which is assuming that every black person is trying to quote unquote fix these existing characters by turning them black. And yeah, no. If you're a part of the minority that unironically thinks this, while putting down their often not white race, that's not right. But assuming everyone else is carrying this mindset too is also wrong. Like I said, people don't think they're changing their race, they're making their own headcanons. And while that does not cover the small minority we don't claim, it does give the other side another thing to use against us as a whole. And fixing art, oh my god. Obviously, the whole fixing thing is just never good to do at all. Through the whole whitewashing Nessa situation, you had people doing what they called fixing art of Nessa that was whitewashed by while making it darker, which only really muddied the waters of who was in the right and who was in the wrong in the situation. Almost all of the people who were on the side of advocating for coloring Nessa with completely dark skin did not find it okay to do this to someone's art, and neither do I. No matter the circumstance, you should never ever edit someone's art. And if I hear you call me a hypocrite because you're comparing someone's fan art to studio, like official art,
Shut the fuck up talking to me.
what you should do is just let them know that they can't color dark skin right, and they maybe should learn how to. Because you'll be surprised how many people can't and how many people try to weasel their way out of it. Oh, dark skin isn't just part of my pastel ooh art style. Ever seen a chocolate cake nigga? It go together. Miss me with that Tim Burton black people don't fit in my aesthetic bullshit. You just a lazy ass. It's so obvious how people cannot or do not ever try to color dark skin, and that for sure is because of a lack of dark skin representation in media, which is why people make their own to feel better. I don't know if you can see the correlation, but all of this is connected. I'm not just putting these things together that don't make sense to make it make sense. These are all correlated. This is just another clear as day example of why representation matters. If people saw more brown or dark skin representation on the TV, you see it more in people's art because it be normalized. A lot of y'all forget this stuff is taught, and people keep the same beliefs not because they're right, but because the same beliefs are being taught to kids. I mean, it's just unfortunate that this is an issue that not a lot of people know or care about. Unfortunately, not every anime wants to be Fire Force or cares about black people, but like it or not, a lot of black people consume anime, and black people, just as other minority groups, consume media just as much as white people. Dark-skinned niggas look at the same shit light-skinned niggas do. So why exactly aren't they in the shit? I know to a lot of people representation isn't really a big issue because they don't care, but it is. With the lack of it, people take it into their own hands by making their own in different ways. Just how, say, if you're watching a cartoon and they so happen to not have your personality represented, you just might write a self-insert or headcanon one of the characters to be like you. A lot of us do the same, but with our racial identity. Now, obviously, I'm thankful for all the new stuff we got right now. It's great. But as for the edits, I understand them, and I think they're pretty neat. I think you should too. They're made with love. These ones aren't. See, this is why I've been with Naruto and Tenchi Muyo since day one. See this nigga? Me for real. See this nigga? Me for real. See this nigga Kaz Khan? Me for real on a stack, bruh. That's what I call representation, baby. Give me more of that, please. Also, a good amount of y'all thought these were fine, so we ain't gonna let that slide. I ain't forget that shit.
For clarification, I don't exactly care or are offended by these edits, but if you don't have a problem with these, but have a problem with these, that's a problem in itself. Oh, let's use black features for comedy, but when they want to do it for sincerity, there's a problem. Yeah, I ain't forget.
Meet me in the back and you find out why you'll find somebody else last Wednesday night. The liquor will something to sit down, get rose come out of my head.
Starlight, beat like attention. Starlight, beat like attention.